his Brackus email. You don't need to be showing everybody how great your phone is.
Yeah.
Oh, so backside attack. How'd your week go this week? How are things?
Good. Let's see what happened this week.
We've covered that in spades.
Yeah, there was let's see what new happened to this week.
What were you into?
I know I was just working out, exercising.
Hey, nice. You're back into because you have a goal.
Yeah, I wanted to not be fat.
Well, I feel like I put you into a corner there.
Yeah, you did,
baby.
Oh, you did a while ago.
I did.
You actually did that a while ago, and so yeah, no.
How did I do that? Did I talk about your weight?
Yeah,
I don't think I did.
No, it was passive aggressive, but
it was probably passive.
Yeah, but there was a little.
Was there a twinge of
like
a little in the night?
Yeah, there's a little bit of it, but it's like what I needed.
I think I feel like it was when you talked about your weight. I agreed with you.
Yeah, you did. There was no sympathy. It was
there was no sympathy. I'm like, well, you know what you did to yourself, so
exactly.
go fix it.
Yeah, go fix it, man. So yeah, no, I just love it now. It's just great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really good.
I just can't wait to keep. And it was weird thing because I was working out today, and in the middle of it, right after my phone interview, there was then Orange Theory called me, and they're like, hey, do you want to come back and join? We can waive off your reset up fee and stuff like that. And I'm like, maybe. I was like,
well, have you got the COVID?
Yeah, well, I actually went there in October, and I tried it out for.
Oh no, that's right, you did.
I had 3 sessions, and it's totally safe.
No, they can't afford to mess somebody up.
No, yeah,
they'll destroy their company.
Yeah, and the whole place smells like alcohol,
like a cleaning, like isopropyl
alcohol. Yeah, it's like it's totally like it's like you can't tell if that's sweat or someone like just wringing out like a wipe
all over the thing there. Hey, you notice they've got that new like plant-based like 99.9% cleaner. It's mostly like oregano and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's everywhere now.
That's everywhere.
You walk into Walmart and all you smell is oregano.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought their wipes.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, there's you should and also they're saying that I think the health minister of Alberta said that disposable masks should no longer be used.
You mean the one use that you're using 4 or 5 times?
Yeah, those ones, like those blue and white ones. Yeah, what you should be doing is getting a triple layer one.
A triple layer mask. That's good because I have a homemade triple layer mask. So
there you go. Yeah,
I'll just use that.
Yeah, just make sure that it's because it will. Number one, this disposable mask, like they're just bad for the environment, and number two, they won't even protect you.
No, I mean they're all open.
They're all open. Yeah, you're like, why would you want to wear those?
Well, here's the deal too.
And you see them on the ground everywhere. Just like Jesus Christ.
Don't
and the thing is, like, you can't pick it up.
No, because that's got the COVID on it.
Exactly. You don't want that your hands and all that shit.
It's disease ridden.
Yeah.
It's like a little
I'm
blue
too
rat.
much today. I don't know why.
No. You've been on fire. You are all fired up.
So yeah.
You're a curse machine.
Yeah.
F this and screw that, and she's a C word and he's a B word.
Exactly. There's constant
everybody's just
everywhere.
J in their D. Oh, yeah, it's good that you're working out though.
Yeah,
because I mean, anytime somebody exercises,
it's just like,
I grow a pair of wings.
Yeah, I just love getting in the, like, just getting in the basement and just going hard and just.
Well, that sounds pornographic.
Well, I'm alone.
I'm by myself.
I'm alone.
No, but I know what you mean. Like you've actually tried to build a little area that you can work out. Like you've bought enough equipment that you can work out.
Yeah,
at home.
I have the bench. I have the bench. I have like a full bench that you can the ones they use at the gym. I have the curling bar. I got enough plates. I got the pull down machine.
Lat pull down.
Yeah, lat pull down. I got the punching bag, and then everything else is just isometrics.
I feel like you're just describing things that you're looking at here.
Like, you have everything I have. Yeah, exactly.
I've got that, and I've got this. I've got a cup.
Yeah, I should come in and do shopping.
Got
I'm like,
a bottle.
actually, I don't have that one.
I've got microphones and podcast gear.
Yeah.
Like, are you just describing things you're looking at in the room?
Just a story. Yeah, let's take this. I'll borrow this, and I'll
take all the stuff. It's all mine now. No, man, I think like that's one of those deals that we were talking about today with like some family members and stuff about how there are people out there who don't have an interest in working out. Mm-hmm. We kind of talked about the idea of just general health maintenance from people that we come from.
Yeah.
Like people in Fiji or in India or like, in the islands, how they just, you look at photos of them now and they're younger than our parents and they look twice as old.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, why do they look like that? And it's not because they have necessarily like a harder life. I mean, my mom worked really hard from the second she came to Canada. I mean, we have a house cleaning business that she literally built with her bare hands. So when you want to talk about like labor jobs, yeah, we've had labor jobs all the time. I've been bouncing bars since I was 17, doing labor work since I was like in high school. So like when you talk about like how hard you work and then how hard they work, it's like, well, arguably we maybe work harder than them. These people who we know from back in the old country. And they look so rough, but it's because they don't have any interest or they don't have any education on their own health maintenance.
Yeah, there is no work-life balance.
There is none.
There's none. And
they do not work out.
No. And so it's like I was telling you, because after I reread some parts of Mama Mentality, and it was just about falling in
Kobe
love.
book.
Yeah, just falling in love with the process. I don't care what I look like next year.
Yep.
I don't give a shit. But I gotta fall in love with the process. And
I think that's a big one people talk about, because it can build. They talked about it today. I think the term they use, it's not the accurate term at all. I can't remember the accurate term is, but they call it like bigorexia. It's like there's this whole, and it's always been there. People who work out really hard for the look, the bodybuilders, the fitness people, how they never look good enough. Like they always have this anorexic mentality, like I'm not skinny enough, I'm not jacked enough.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Don't get involved with the way you look. Can you run a mile and not get gassed? Are you healthy? Are you eating right? Is your cholesterol in check? Is your blood pressure good? Good.
Yeah.
Good, man. That's great. If you do you have a little spare tire? You got a little fold over your belt? But is your health good? Is your cholesterol good? Good.
Yeah, it's weird because I remember like before, I think I was telling you this like a while ago, that when I wasn't working out that much, I noticed myself I was gaining weight. My stomach was getting bigger, and then I found out then I went back into working out, and then I found out that my stomach was getting bigger after a workout. And I was like, wait, I just did like tons of cardio. Like even though after I'm biking, I was like, my stomach was getting bigger, and I was like, what the hell is that? Then I realized, I'm like, oh my god, I'm retaining water.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not drinking water. I'm not drinking enough water. So now it's just like man, like you'd be like, if you saw how much water I drink, it's like it's disgusting.
Yeah, you got to drink that water to get the water out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens. You flush your system out.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm doing right now. It's like it's just a matter. I should have brought it today, but like I'm just drinking water like a mofo. I've never said that term before, mofo.
Like a mofo?
Yeah.
Really?
I've never heard.
I call bullshit.
I know. I've never said it before.
Really?
God, yeah.
Everybody says that word.
Yeah. Mofo. I just say it. I'm
did it like a mofo.
Yeah.
Crazy like a mofo.
Yeah. Or just find another term for it.
Now that actually brings me to because mofo is something that a friend says a lot. A friend of mine, one you haven't met, but one who I don't know if he listens to the show, but we're gonna talk about some shit. So maybe I won't let him know that we're talking about things that he was involved in. But it brought me to the idea.
Sorry.
That's all right. Of cults. And like we talk about cults every now and then. And this week I was watching a lot of stuff that had to do with like cult mentality. I watched a little bit of the Scientology thing. I was watching a little bit about the Nexium stuff that's going down now.
Yeah.
Sarah Edmondson was on the other show that Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You, and she talked about it. And I started thinking about, because I last year had a run-in with a cult that tried to get me to do a job for them, and in turn tried to get me to go to their church and hang out. And I was like, right away, I was like, heebie-jeebies. I think Dan was here for that episode.
I hate the heebie-jeebies.
I hate the heebie-jeebies. But like, I always kind of say how if your gut tells you something's wrong, you should listen to your gut, because I'm a big believer that we take in a lot of data.
Yes, that is so true.
Listen to your gut. Because we take in tons of data. Where it's like there's a part of our brain that is primitive, that is
all these nightmares are just going through my head right now. Just like
when you should have.
When you should have, yeah.
Yeah, when you should have listened to it. And when your gut's telling you something's wrong, it's generally because your brain has filtered through tons, like an astronomical amount of data of things that have gone wrong.
Yeah, and then it comes to your realization in a second.
And those are that's what it is. Yeah. The butterflies, whatever it is. Whatever feeling you get when your brain is like, get out, get out, get out, get out. You should do it. So I had that thing happen about, I think like 2 years ago now. I had an ad out, because every summer season I put out an ad for photography, right? So I got this ad from these people who said, why don't you, we're coming into town, will you be able to take some photos for me? And they tell me they're in like Georgia or something. Like it was some southern state. I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll go through the email later on and show it to you. But they're like, we're coming into town. Can you take some photos? It's a small wedding group. We're going to end up being like 50 people in Alberta, in Edmonton. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. Let me know when you're here. When you get all your stuff together, give me an idea of what I need to do for you, but I can absolutely do it. Here's my portfolio. Take a look online, blah, blah, blah. And it was written like well, but at the same time it was written almost as if somebody had written it very quickly, not done any kind of grammatic checks or grammar checks, or just like put it together properly. But it didn't feel like an African or Nigerian print scam at all. It felt like somebody, like an English speaker wrote this thing down, but wrote it very quickly, like Trump on a Twitter rant. Mm-hmm. So I get that thing, and then they come back and say to me, the wedding is here, here, and here. It's all in Calgary after they've already told me it's here in Edmonton. Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's weird because they just changed the entire venue. So are you the same people who just got back to me? What's going on here? Like, yeah, it's going to be here at this church in this location. And then we might do some stuff in Edmonton as well. Can you go to Edmonton and Calgary? So I thought to myself, well, I've done that before. I have done things where I did like a bride's makeup or getting ready prep for the week before. Mm-hmm. Do some fun shoots here. Then we go over there, shoot the wedding prep and the wedding stuff in Calgary. Proceed, all done. But then they changed it on me again from being downtown to being somewhere else in a suburb. It's like, this is really odd. Like, what is going on here? So I'm like, hey, get your shit together, man. I got plans. I got schedules to make. You figure out what you need to do and then call me back and let me know what you need. And they said,
I think you might have told me about this.
I might have told you about this. Because I don't want to mention what it was.
But keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, because the building and the organization actually exists in the real world. I don't want like a libel or a defamation kind of thing.
Exactly.
So they get back to me and say, hey, instead of the wedding, at this date, do you want to come to this church, bring some friends, and just see what the place is all about?
Oh.
I'm like, oh, what? Cult! Like right away, I'm like, this is like, all the bells were going off beforehand.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I think this is like a recruitment deal. They're trying to get people into their organization. So then I go online and do a little Google search. I'm like, oh, that is what it is. These people are like that. So there's a Facebook group talking shit about them. There was a Reddit group talking shit about them. So immediately I was like, oh, this is, like wipe the sweat from your brow and be like, oh, okay. So the weird feelings, dodge that one pretty quick, right? But it can happen where all of a sudden you go in there and next thing you know, you're not indoctrinated, but you're like, this funky group of people have some pretty wild ideas, but I can get on board.
Yep.
And before you know it, you're in a cult. Like you've been indoctrinated. You got 3-4 days, maybe 5 days, maybe give them $50 for a seminar here and let's go see those people there. And next thing you know, you're in the woods chopping down a tree and building a log cabin and you in a cult, homie.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. The even like any like insurance scam or they just send their people out to like
MLMs.
Yeah, they send them out. Like I think I told you I got caught with this one. I was sitting in Starbucks and this
we talked about that.
That Asian girl. I was like, oh great. I'm like, what? This fell on my lap.
Yep.
I can't believe this. I was like talking
Pretty
to her.
girl talking to me.
Great. And then I was like, oh, I'm like talking, and she's like, oh. Then she finally like, when she dropped that first hint, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is not about me. It's about her.
Yeah.
I was like, after that, I was like, and then I kind of I said, don't go anywhere. I'm like, then I kind of like laid into her, not personally, but professionally.
Yeah.
And then I hit her with the left hook, and I was like, this is what you're doing is I said, then I asked her questions. I'm like, where did you go to school? Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, I went to university. And I said, what did you study? And she's like, accounting. And I said, get back into it.
You know what though?
Yeah.
Like really, maybe she needed an interaction like that. Because very likely this is her, who knows? I don't know how many times she's done it before, but if you were able to read that she was a novice and you were able to tell her, hey.
Oh, yeah. It came.
What did you do?
Yeah, I'm like, you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, because, like, there's groups in there where they teach you how to, like, deal with, like, people who are, like, they catch on to you, and then you have to, like, start to answer a question with a question, whatever their stupid fucking laws are. But, like, they, or rules that they teach you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, this one was, I was just like, whoosh, just cut it right off.
Done.
And I was, just cut it, and then just be like, walk away from this. I'm like, if you have a great education, you left pretty much what could be like a really successful career to like go after easy money.
Yeah.
And then go after like some sort of like pyramid scheme where like you're not, which you're obviously not suited to do because I know you have to start somewhere, but you don't have to if you go back to your next job.
Well, the problem is she got duped into thinking that she wasn't good enough and they were going to make her better.
Yeah.
And this was going to be a pathway to success.
It's a promise.
Money.
It's an empty promise.
It's an empty promise.
That's all it is. It's wishful thinking that they brainwash you with. So
I've always said that if you walk, and this is like, there's like again, this kind of goes back to the person who ultimately got me realizing that like MLMs and cults and all that kind of stuff is like just bad news. I was working at Reds and I was talking to a buddy of mine about the idea that if I can get somebody to open their mouth, that I can get them to do anything. And that whole thing comes from the Drew Carey show. when Wick was trying to tell Drew that his friends were idiots.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oswald's there. He's like,
I remember
Oswald,
that. Yeah, I totally
open your
remember
mouth.
that. Yeah.
And Oswald just opened it. Or he's like, why? He's like, I'll give you $5. And he opened his mouth. And he's like, well, that's all it takes. If I can get you to open your mouth with a question that sounds sincere enough, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. You can condition people to do that.
I can condition you to do that anytime I want you to. So like the joke that I made. And then this other friend was like, well, that's stupid. So I called another guy who worked with us who was naive. Great heart in this kid. I mean, like the kind of kid who like the fight happens, the bullets start flying. He's trying to make sure nobody gets hurt. But a dummy. So I walked him over. I'm like, hey, do me a favor. Open your mouth. And he's like, all right, whatever. And he opened his mouth. Like, you see? Like, I mean, I can sell this dude anything. And we all knew the kind of person he was. Super naive. And they're the ones, not because they're stupid, but because they're naive, to get sucked into these things.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, yeah, it's very, like, even, like, you're naive when you walk in there. Because, like, you're just like, I want to, yeah, this seems like, okay, you said that we can do this. And like, it'll take, I just have to build a team and do all this stuff. Like, where do I start? Like, you start under me, and then, like, then you can lead. And then, all of a sudden, like, it's Pyramid 101.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so you walk in with curiosity, but then your naivete takes
Smart
over.
Guy.
Yeah, and then you're just another person to them. You're another dollar sign that they could potentially use.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not, then they'll be like, just keep plugging away at it. And next thing you know, you've like some people, they've wasted like 5 years of their life.
Oh,
trying to like
Edmondson was talking about it, how she went. The show is out now. I think I think it's called The Vow, about Keith Rainier and the Vanguard of NXIVM, and how she says you walk in there and you've got 5 days in your seminar. You pay them like $2,000 and do your 5-day seminar, and then from there you get told, well, you know, in the 6th day or the 8th day or the 13th day, and you're gonna end up like learning all this other stuff. It's gonna help you get along and get better and get smarter. So then I just paid $2,000. What's going to cost me to get to day 16? Well, it's another $5,000. Then it's you think, all right, well, it's another $5,000, but I am doing well. I did learn some stuff here, and my juices are flowing. I'm going to help the world. Before you realize it, you've spent the money, and they're telling you you'll get your money back when you recruit more people.
Exactly. And
then you recruit somebody else, and next thing you know, you got these 2 people on the hook. You get all your money back, but to get to day 25, you got to take $15,000 and put it in my pocket. And you're like, well, that's everything I just got back, but they're giving it to me. I mean, it's no different what like Copeland and Osteen do, where the whole like, you know, send us a nickel, we'll send it back.
Exactly.
Then send us $50, we'll send it back.
Yep.
Then send us $500, I'll build a church. There is no church.
There's no church.
There's no church, man.
No.
They're building shit.
Yeah, because like, I remember myself and a friend of the show, Brackus, we went to this one. I won't say the company out loud, but they are they're Edmonton based, and it is a financial scam. And
we already know what it is.
We know what it is. They
do they exist in our world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And
it's a financial scam, you say?
I say. Yeah, they are a group of sorts. Yeah, they're a financial group on this planet, and so I there was a so yeah, I went there and I was like, this is totally bullshit. I said in front of everybody, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. And I knew some people from high school there, and then I was like, I sort of walked out. I'm like, that was a total waste of time.
Total crap.
And so they looked at me as like, they're like, answer the question with the question. So if I say this, just say like, why are you so interested about it?
Yeah.
So like, why? What do you like? So what does this question do? Like, what do you want me to do? How do you want it to?
How do you want me to answer?
Yeah, it's all this fucking. It's a circle of empty logic.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it is.
That's what they were talking about that too.
Yeah. So like I was sitting there, I'm like, and I was like, this is bullshit. I'm like, you guys are all like, I can't believe like what I'm seeing here, right? I'm like, this is not for me. So I just walked out, and then I recognized one of the guys there. I went to high school with him. Not a very bright guy. So he went to Ainley, and then I ran into him about 5 years afterwards. I saw him at I don't even know where I saw him. I saw him at a mall or something, and then I said, he saw me there, and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I said, "Hey buddy, what's going on?" And then I said, "Are you still with that
the scam?
The scam thing?" I see still with. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just putting my team together." I was like, that was 5 years ago.
And you're just doing it now, huh?
I was like, what? And I said, that's 5 years ago. I know that's not a polite thing to say to someone who's like, you know, you don't want to insult anyone for what they do, right? But like,
you've only gotten to your team building.
I'm like, what?
Now.
I'm like you like from what they said.
Yeah.
from what the story that they were selling you, like they said in 5 years you should be worth $100,000 if not more. And this guy was just putting his team together. I'm like, you have been like, they took 5 years of your life away.
Yeah, and how much money?
Yeah, and if you cut that in half, your blame is that you allowed this to happen to you.
Yep.
You never saw I saw him like when I looked at him, I was like you never judge someone on the way they dress, but I'm like, man, you don't look like you're making $100,000 a year.
Man, that is super
That is-
accurate.
yeah.
That is a good way to gauge like those bullshit groups, like the way somebody's dressed, right?
Yep.
We had something super similar happen with, again, fucking the same dude. We went to a seminar for this like a land ownership group. Like, you're all gonna get in there, you're all gonna put a little bit of money in. They're gonna buy a shit ton of land somewhere in southern Alberta or in central Alberta. You all get access to a certain amount of land, but you can't actually go and see what you own. Because it's then all in a group. And the guy who was presenting it to us was talking about how much money we're all going to make. And this is like the 10th, 15th, 20th time he's done it. The guy's wearing this like cheap powder blue suit with like what clearly looks like a shirt and tie that came in the same packet for cheap.
Like
with three other shirts.
Like a modern day Larry from Three's Company.
Like a modern day polyester clad Larry from Three's Company. Wearing like a Walmart watch.
Yeah.
Like, he did not look like the kind of guy who walks into a place and is worth a ton of money.
Yeah.
Now, I've worked with guys who are worth like millions of dollars, and not that I'm worth that much, but I've worked with these people doing like security and stuff, who dressed very down compared to like what you would expect a millionaire to be dressed like.
Yeah.
But still like nice quality stuff. Like, that guy's a millionaire, but like clearly he's wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a nice watch, and he's wearing a really nice T-shirt.
Yeah.
But that's a fucking Versace T-shirt.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
he's T-shirt and jeans, but all that shit costs a lot. This guy was claiming to be a millionaire, dressed like a dollar heir. I mean, it wasn't good, man.
Yeah,
and he's selling you. Yeah, same thing. So when you see that, like, and you recognize that, it's like all these red flags start popping up.
Oh yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'm like, you're making $100,000 a year. Okay,
About to start your own team.
Start your own team. Like that's what I should be looking at right now.
Yeah.
And what I see right now is someone who just wasted their time.
Yeah.
Wasted 5 years of their life.
Man, and that's, again, I keep coming back to it because I think in that age group, it's a big deal. How much money did you put into it?
That's the thing. That amount.
Yeah.
If he had to put more into it, that just puts him deeper in the dirt.
Deeper in, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, like I looked at him, I was like, when he was telling me that whole story, because I was, and then all the gears started turning, and I was like, okay, how much money did he put into this? How much time did he waste? What did he say no to?
Yeah.
When he had an avenue out, and then
Google just got mad at you.
yeah, and then I was like, I just want to, honestly, like I just wanted to slap him in the face.
Yeah.
Just to like shake him
Just
out
to
of it.
wake him up.
Just to wake him up. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Well, you know what? That's what a lot of these stories end up being. Is somebody ends up seeing something.
Yeah, I just want to like just look at it, just give up.
Yeah, where like somebody like you who knows them well enough will say something to them that makes them check, like just makes them like kind of give a little less and ask a little more, and then get a response that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was I guess my feeling at that point was more of anger. Because I number one, I didn't give a shit about this guy.
Yeah.
So I just said, okay, you know what? You're just I can't. You're not even a fucking human being. The way I'm looking at you right now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I'll say this. Hold on. You did care about him. When that disgusted you, what he did to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so disgusted for what he did to himself.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, we're not even the same species.
Yeah. No, you're just grossed out by what he allowed to happen.
Yeah.
To himself.
So that's why I didn't say like what the hell are you doing? Like then I finally I was like, take myself out of the equation. Like, who am I to say anything? But like same time, it's like because I saw the bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe do I owe it to him to like say like get out, get a real job, and like doesn't matter what it is, but like don't do this. Don't be a slave to these people because all they do is just take advantage of you.
Nobody's gonna look at you for saying that and be like, man, just mind your own business. No,
Yeah.
no one's gonna say that. I don't care if it's a scam or multi-level marketing or obesity or whatever. If you genuinely cared about somebody and like, what are you doing to yourself, man? I need to ask you a serious question. What the fuck are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
And they look back at you and they're like, you know what? It's none of your goddamn business. Don't tell me how to live my life. I'm going to go do what I'm doing because these people are showing me the way. And then they come back 5 years later.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I was a dick and you were trying to get me out and I yelled at you. I was wrong. Can we be friends again? Then like think of how you would feel.
Yeah.
Or in 5 years, he's got $500,000 and he's like, you were wrong. You're like, well, yeah, I was wrong. Good
I was
for
wrong.
you.
Then, yeah, it's fine.
Later, homie.
Go ahead.
But back then, it looked like shit.
Yeah.
And now it looks okay. So
Exactly. Like I would rather earn my money honestly
yes.
than by like
Ripping off
if
old
that,
people?
yeah, if that's the way you want to live your life or like earn a living and like, make a dollar, that's fine. But like
That's cool.
I just when everything that I read about that place and what I learned and from what I saw, I'm like that is such a disingenuous way to make money.
Absolutely.
So like I don't want to go to people's houses and restructure their insurance and get them on board with something. That's not what I do. I'm not in financial aid. That's not
No,
what I
man.
do. Okay, if you want to do that stuff, go to a bank.
Yeah, go to a reputable, like, what's that, FDIC? Like, go to one of these places.
Go to
That-
go to your bank and say like, I want to talk to a financial analyst. And I
Yes.
was like, you know what? I want to do this with my money. I want to retire at this age. I want to put this much money away. What's the best pathway? I want to do stocks. Blah blah blah. These people are trained to do this. They don't pick people off the streets and go and
They're not going to recruit you in a Starbucks.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I had the same.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same dude, the same company. I had a guy try to recruit me from a, what's it called? A Marshalls. Again, I've talked about it here too. He tried to recruit me while I'm
Yeah.
buying t-shirts on Marshalls. And like I said, I tend to mumble to myself a lot. Like
Yeah.
I talk to myself a lot. So I was just walking around making fun of t-shirts.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
The guy's like, what's so funny? Like, what is this going on here? Is just this dude trying to pick me up? Like, thank you, flattered, but I got my own thing going on over here.
Oh yeah, man.
It was weird.
I've been stopped at Chapters twice. This other guy said it to me, and then I ran to him again.
Yeah.
So I ran into him again, but this was I saw him, and then I had no. This is when I had no beard, and he was soliciting me for some reason, and then he's like,
Also sounds pornographic.
yeah. So I was like, I was going through stuff, and he's like, hey man, so I'm buying my nephew like a superhero comic, graphic. Which one should I buy? I'm like, okay, if I would recommend Batman. I said, has he read The Long Halloween? And I said, no. I'm like, well, you can read this. And he's like, The Dark Knight Returns, read this. And he's like, oh, cool. Then I could tell he wanted to fast forward through all that shit. And then he said, so what do
It
you
ain't
do?
cheap to buy all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I said, what do you do? And I said, I'm like, I don't know, I work.
I'm an astronaut.
Yeah, and he said, oh, how do you like it? No other
That's
like,
it.
nah, how do you like it? And I said, I'm like, work is work. It pays the bills and that's it. And then he said, he goes, oh, are you happy there? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm fine with work. I'm like, work is work. And he said, cool. And he's like, hey man, I'd love to continue this conversation further. Do you mind if I get your number? And then,
What conversation,
yeah.
man? I don't even know you.
yeah. And I was like, I said, sure. And I was like, sure. And then I gave him I just made up it. I said 587-254-3215. Yeah. So I thought of I thought of 9 digits and I threw another one in there. I'm like 5.
Just give him one more for the hell of it.
Yeah. So then I was like, and then,
You probably broke the poor kid's brain.
yeah, well, he's sitting, he's like putting in his phone, and he's like, repeat that again. And I'm
Hey.
like, he said, repeat that again. I totally forgot the numbers. So I just gave him a whole new number.
8675309.
Yeah.
Got to drop that one every time.
That's the one you go use.
Every single time, man.
And then I didn't go there for a while. And then in October, when I grew my beard, I went there and I saw him. And he looked at me and I was like, shit. I'm like, this not this idiot again. And then he's like, hey, do I know you? I said, who are you? I said, what? And then he's like, no, I said, what? And then he's like, have we met before? And I said, no, I'm sorry, we haven't. And he's like, oh, he goes, you look so familiar, right? I said, no, I never met you before in my life.
But you knew.
Yeah. But then I said, yeah, I knew, he looked, I think he was wearing the same thing too.
But you just, you for some reason, out of everybody I know, you love to just like screw with these people.
It's, the thing is like, I don't, there should be another way of handling this.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is.
Other than, demoralizing them.
Yeah, other than the sledgehammer approach, but you
The
can't do
sledgehammer
you can't do that in a public place, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't want to become.
Well, you can.
You can if you want to, but I don't want to come off as a total asshole. And so,
You sure about that?
well, it depends on like how deep he was like trying to dive into it.
Yeah,
but like, and I said no. Then I was like, then I got to get out of here, right? But then I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm like, I have to get out of here.
He has to get out of here.
So I sat there. And I sat there and read a book, and this guy he's just looking at me, and he's like, I know this is the guy, right? But I knew for a fact he knew it was me, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he does not have the guts to come up to me. He's like, hey, no, You're the guy. I know you're the guy. And the thing is, he couldn't call my. And then he took out his phone. He took out his phone. I'm like, that's not gonna ring to my phone.
No, it's gonna ring to your phone anyway.
587, whatever.
Oh man, 587.
867-5309.
Yeah, 587-8675-309. Oh man.
Yeah. And one thing is like,
it's so gross though.
the thing is, I don't know how. Like, I think I'm just playing a game with them. Like, subconsciously, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, why not just end this?
Yeah, and well, you know what it is too. It's like when you see it and you recognize that somebody is trying to essentially screw you over.
Yeah.
And you know, here's the problem though. I don't know if he knew. I don't know if they knew. Like, because I think when they get indoctrinated into that, or churches, or cults, or whatever it is.
Yeah, they don't know when to walk away.
No, I don't think they know what they're doing is annoying. Like, if you...
Okay, yeah, that, I bet you anything, they have no idea how they're being annoying. They don't know at all.
They don't know, because the people who end up making it to that level, they're true believers. Like, there's this like phenomenon, I think, that happens with these, like, where they feel... Okay, a great example. She was talking about...
Oh, you know what? Actually, you know why? You know, I'll tell you why. Because I did not say the word no.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of kept giving them, like, I don't know.
They're trained for the word no.
Yeah, they hear that.
Or get away from me or whatever. I'm not interested, right? I never said that.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. The second you give him an absolute, he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Exactly. So that's what I did not do. So I put him on a ride.
Yeah.
But the problem was that I let the ride go on for a little bit too long.
That's what it is.
But he was still on the ride.
Well, his training didn't kick in.
None.
But what I was getting at is that guy, the reason his training didn't kick in is he is susceptible to the indoctrination. Mm-hmm. And when he, like, whether she was talking about...
It was painfully obvious, too. Yeah.
Painfully obvious.
Yeah.
Like, when you talk to me, like, this guy for sure is the kind of guy who gets sucked into a cult.
Yeah.
Because look at his eyes. Like, they have that weird look on their face. They
because they're just like,
really
and then they're like waiting for... And they're just like... They're just sweating. They're like, I can't wait to get the next question.
Exactly.
They're like, okay, you know what? They told me like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, I'm at step 1. How do I get to step 2? Okay, shit, he's not giving me an in. How do I do it? And I'm like, you could see the calculations he's doing in his head. I can see his eyes. He's sitting there. He's like, yeah. So what should I do this? So yeah. So you like this? Yeah. So what do you do? I'm like, no, man. Like, you're building rapport in the wrong places.
You're doing it the wrong way, man. You don't know how to do this. Like, you don't understand because
this is not Dale Carnegie training.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The techniques they're getting aren't. You know what? They're not Dale Carnegie training. The techniques they get are more in line with like neuro-linguistic programming. Yeah. They're being told, like, if you use these words, it will make them your friend. It'll make them more likely to be on your side.
Yeah.
Whereas Dale Carnegie is trying to empower you to make you more confident to interact in a better way. These people are being told how to dupe you into believing what they're selling.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Like, these people are not... like, having that... If that is your training to how to deal with people... in your life, that's going to lead to like just failure after failure. It's not going to get you anywhere.
Well, it's going to lead to a lot of emptiness. Like, you're not going to be full. Like, you think you might be fulfilled. Like, the end goal is success and a big house and a wife who loves you and high fives from your kids because you're the provider. And that's not going to happen. No. It's going to be a lot of emptiness because you're never going to get there.
Yeah, because then you're going to shake off whatever fake training they gave you and real life in interactions with people. You're going to be like, you're going to talk to people like how these people trained you, like normal people in your everyday life, and you're going to be like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Oh yeah, people. That's how they're going to look at you.
Yeah, it's just it's weird how people are just like indoctrinated and how they're and just a failure to think for yourself.
Like that's the robotic artificial laugh at jokes that aren't funny.
Yeah.
It's like that's what you become. You become that thing where it's like,
ha ha.
He told joke. Must laugh now. Ha ha.
It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. Hello. Ha ha.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You become that version of the robot.
Exactly.
It's wild, man. It doesn't like it's freakish though. Like when they actually get out, when you see that's the true believer who walks away, and then you kind of see how little of a true believer they really were. Like they got into it. Like when you see the like the Leah Remini thing. And the Edmondson thing, and the people who I've kind of seen go in and out of organizations that were like MLMs or culty, right? When they walk out, they always have this look on their face like, I can't believe I got duped by that shit. Like, I can't believe that was something I thought I was going to give everything
they're
into.
Stunned. Yeah, they're legitimately stunned.
Legitimately stunned.
Yeah.
But then there's a person in that group who doesn't get out. And then you see the interactions you have with them, and the interactions you have with your friend, or the interactions you see among people who are stunned. And it's very different.
It's very different.
Like those lifers and true believers, it's wild, man. It's like they're in a different place of just like, blind like faith loyalty. They're in deep.
Yeah, it's like any cult or any diehard religion.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah, same thing. We had a girl one time, and this is the flip side of that. Me and Doug were in the Chiang Mai airport, but the Bangkok airport, SMB, and we were sitting around waiting for our flight. And there's like a Japanese, like she looked very not traditional Japanese, but she was definitely Japanese and not Thai. And even by the accent, like we're trained to hear those accents, right? But she walks up and she's gonna ask us questionnaires, and it turns out it was about like traveling internationally, especially to Japan. And the way she was asking the question, she knew exactly how to get automatic affirmative responses out of us to join her conversation. She walked up, she was very nice to us, she extended her hand in this like really polite, nice way, and she bowed. And next thing you know, me and Doug are sitting there, and like I'm looking at him because he's about like 3 seats over, because there was like 2 air conditioning units or three banks of seats over, and he's sitting in front of one, I sit in front of the other because it was hot as balls. It was such a hot day. So we're sitting there. I look over and he's talking to this girl, and I see her nodding, and she extends her hand, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well, this is nice. I'm seeing a nice affirmative thing going on over here."
Yeah.
She's a clipboard, and next thing you know, Doug's talking to her and talking, and he thanks her for her time, and she walks away. And she walks to somebody else. I look at him. He's like, I don't know what the hell just happened, but I think I just filled out a survey. So then she's walking around. I'm watching her do the same thing with everybody, and her body language never quite changed. It was always like very polite, and not in like a weird, what we expect Canadians or Japanese people to be as far as politeness goes.
Yeah.
Her body language was very like hypnotic. The way she was moving was all very like, hello, I'm your friend. I'm nodding, so you'll start nodding. I'm very happy. You'll be happy. And her makeup was like very subdued, but very like child, like porcelain dolly. So when you look at her, you're like, well, she's actually like, she looks very like innocent. So everything about her was designed to get an affirmative response to the people she was talking to. I was like, it was like bloody creepy, man. And she comes to me. I'm watching her walk over to me, and she just starts talking, and I start interacting with her, and she's very like, hello, I'm good. How are you? I'm like, what is going on here?
Wow.
Then Doug watched her have the same interaction with me that I watched her have with him. I'm like, it was weird, man. Like, I couldn't say no to her. Yeah. It was you weren't able to give her like a negative response. It wasn't anything major. She wanted to know where we were traveling. Will we ever travel here again? Would we go to Japan? What do we think about Japan? And then something else. But what kind of food we like? And she was gone. Off to the next person. But we both recognized right away. And ever since then, I've kind of been a little bit not suspicious, but like in tune, weary about like those people in those situations.
Yeah.
Who walk up and they have that, like they're just trying to hypnotize you with the way they're moving.
That's kind of cool, though. That's a cool life experience.
It was a very cool life experience. It was very cool to see it happen to everybody, and then kind of be like, not me. She walked up to me, and I'm like, oh no, me too. Mm-hmm. I can't say no to you. Like, you look so innocent.
I'm glad you actually kept watching her. Yeah.
It was wild. You could not watch her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because like there was something like intriguing about it. Like, oh, look at that lovely Japanese, very sexy. It wasn't that at all. Like, you were watching her just in awe of her get these affirmative, and they were all like every interaction was very positive. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter if they were white, like he's white, I'm not. There's Thais. There's people who don't look like they're from anywhere. There's some like hardcore Indian looking people. Some people told her like, hit the road, I'm busy. But I would say 12 out of 15 were all positive. And it was all to do like all body language. Her movement was all like a metronome.
I should have met her in Starbucks instead of the other one.
She would have got you. She would have gotten whatever she wanted out of you, and then some.
Yeah, then I'd be crying here about it.
You would be crying to her about it?
I'd be crying here about it. Like,
you'd be crying here about it.
Yeah, the one time I got taken advantage of.
I got duped in a Starbucks.
Yeah.
She took all my money.
Yeah.
But
and she did the same thing to like 12 other people.
12 other people.
In the exact same way.
But I've always been fascinated by the idea of how people get sucked into like organizations and cults. Like, how does it happen, right? At what point, like, I mean, I know you have, but at what point do you tell your boss to go F himself? Like, we've all done it.
We all done it, yeah.
I mean, well, people we know generally in our group of friends are, we're not aggressive, but we're pretty assertive. Like, we take care of ourselves. So our group does. I know lots of people who would never say that.
Yeah.
But like, at what point when you're in a cult, because that becomes like your boss, becomes like another supervisor. Yeah. There's levels. At what point do you question it and like they ask you to do something? You're like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Go F yourself. I'm out.
Oh man, there's so many ways.